So, good morning, class.
Good morning!
So, how are you today?
I'm so good, miss. How about you?
Yes, I'm also good. And actually, who's not coming today?
Reza, miss.
Why?
She doesn't wake up yet. Maybe she died.
Oh, that's actually she's not dying. Maybe she's sick or something like that. And
Okay, miss.
today, have you got your breakfast?
Not yet, miss. Would you like to give me breakfast, I think?
Oh, of course. Maybe later we will have a brunch together in the canteen, right?
Yay! Thank you,
Okay.
miss.
So before we start our class today, it's better if we start the lesson with the prayer first. Who wants to be the volunteer?
Me.
Okay, let's come to in front of the class and lead the prayer. So, Jesta, because you are the volunteer of the prayer, please come in front of the class and lead the prayer before we start our class today.
So, guys, before we start our class today, it's better if we start with a prayer. I will lead in with the universal way. Pray begin. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Jesta, for participating to the prayer.
You're welcome, miss.
Okay, so class, I want to show you something before we start our class today. So, do you know what is this?
Yes, miss, I know.
What is this?
It's a newspaper and a magazine.
Yes, you're right. And inside this newspaper and this magazine, what is that?
There is an article. Sorry, miss. There are an article.
Yes.
And a news.
Okay, good, Jesta. Well done. That's inside this. There's an article, and actually, what is inside the article? What can you? So what's inside the article?
Of course, the news, miss. I already told ya.
Yes. So can you conclude what will you learn today?
I think news item maybe, miss.
Yes, of course. That is the news item that we will learn today. Okay, so why do you need to learn about the news item?
Because to gain our knowledge and keep in touch with other.
Yes.
Yeah, you know lah.
Okay, so actually, you will get an information from the news. So that's why we will learn about this news item. And then from the news item, from the news, we will have more knowledge about what will happen, what happened in our environment recently. So I want to ask the other things. Maybe, have you heard the latest information that happened around our environment recently?
Yes, miss.
Okay, Yuki, what's the answer?
Coronavirus, miss.
Yes, and what do you know about the virus?
The virus is from Wuhan, China.
Yes, of course. I've also heard that too. The virus outbreak actually makes many changes to our environment, and we have to change our activities due to the situation. And actually, where did you hear the news about the
From
virus?
Jakarta Post and CNN, miss.
Wow, that's the online newspaper, right?
Yes. No, miss. It's
Oh.
a paper news.
Oh,
It's a paper-based, miss.
paper-based. Oh,
Yes.
that's cool.
I know. Thank you, miss.
Yes, you are a good student who read the paper-based newspaper.
Yes, cause my daddy so rich, miss.
Yes, of course. And you guys are already have the right answer to get the news. So actually, we can get the news from the newspaper like Yuki did, and then we also can get the news from the television, the social media, or even the radio and this magazine. So okay, class, before we learn more about the news item, we will have one video about the example of the media of the news item, and later we will discuss the video together in this class. Okay, let's see the video now.
Lice infection in parents and children from 8 years of age and above is very rampant in the world today. It's highly contagious and can be really frustrating to totally eradicate. 95% of victims affected by this infection tend to seem helpless, as most measures put in place to put an end to the terror seem to be of little or no help. This kindled a quest for an effective solution in Nicolette Mack, a mother of 2, whose children used to be victims of lice infection. After several late nights working, brainstorming, making surveys and much more, she was able to come up with an effective measure that works by drowning and keeping the lice on the hair unconscious for a period of time in olive or sunflower oil, enabling the infected victim to comb them out with the use of a lice comb. This invention is called the lice hat. The lice hat has been nominated for the Best Invention Award in Holland and has been tested vigorously. It has proven to be the solution that works. It is healthy for the hair, cost-effective, and can be reused for at least 10 times.
Okay, so guys, after you watch the video, what do you get from the video?
I still don't understand about the video, Miss.
Okay, I will explain more about the video because you don't understand about it. So actually, in the video, from the news we can get the source of information and also the background of information. And okay, based on the video and based on our discussion in the first part, do you know what is the meaning of news item?
Is it like something important, maybe, Miss?
Yes, and yes, you're right. And I will continue the other meaning of the news item. Actually, news item is a text which informs readers about events of the day. So the events are considered as the newsworthy or the important. Same what Jesta said before. And class, do you know about the important thing? Or do you know what we can conclude as the important thing in the news? Do you know about that?
The source, maybe?
Yes. Okay, maybe we can conclude about the important thing in the news that the important thing of the news has a good information. So if the news didn't consist of good information, you cannot conclude it as the news a good news because it didn't consist of a good information. And then the news items should be known, or the information should be known by many people. Then the events or these events deserve the news, like that. Okay, so you know right, the news item, you know right, the everything that exists in this world has a purpose, right? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So are you have your existence here has the purpose. If it's a small purpose, but it will give an impact to your environment. Same with the news item. So the news item actually have a purpose, but actually the purpose is the same as the meaning of the news item. That is, the news item has a purpose to inform and to present the readers about the newsworthy or the important events of the day. Okay. Okay. Same with the other text. Like, okay. So, can you mention some of the texts that you have learned in your school besides news item? Like descriptive text, and what else? Do you know the other?
Narrative.
Yes, narrative, and what else?
Procedure text.
Yes, that's right. Same with procedure text, descriptive text. Actually, news item has many aspects that build the news. For example, like generic structure and the language features. So first, we will talk more first about the generic structure. Okay, so I will explain more about the three generic structure of the news item. The first one, we have main events here. Do you know what is the main events of the news item? No? Do you? Okay. So I will explain more about the main events of the news item. Actually, the main events is it recounts the event in a summary form. So this part actually known as the newsworthy events or the important events. Why is it like that? Because this part tells us about the whole part of the story that or everything that already happened in the news. And usually, these main events also form in a summary. And then later, it will be more explanation in the next part, which is in elaboration part. So, the second generic structure that exists in the news item is the elaboration or the background events. So, if the main event is the summary of the whole part of the news or everything that will happen in the news, this elaboration part explain or elaborate about what happened, like what happened more in this event, and also it also contain about people or who's inside the case or the incident or the event, and also what is the circumstances and etc. To sum up, they elaborate the summary of the main event, and it tells the background of why the news was made and why it happened in the news. Okay, like for example, why the coronavirus happened, or who made this virus, and then what happened with the other countries besides or outside the originate virus. I think like if the news talks about the virus like that. Okay, the third generic structure is the resource of information, or we can say it as a source. So in a source, it contains comments by participants, or it also contains the witness, and it also contains the expert who talked about the event of the news. Like this source of information makes the news become more valid because we have the proof, because we have the real proof about the situation or the event. Okay. So right now we will move to the language features of the news item. Actually, there are some of the language feature of the news item. Do you know what is that?
No.
Okay, I will explain you more about that. The first one, we use saying verb in making of the news. Do you know what saying verb?
No.
Okay, so the saying verb, actually the verb that used to alternative for the word say in their speech text or for direct speech. So they can provide information to how things are being spoken. For example, of the saying verb are she said, she informed, or told, or even reported. That's the saying verb. Okay, I want to ask the other things about the language feature. So do you know what is the first part that mentioned in the news? No? Okay. So actually, I want to say that the first part that mentioned in the news is the headline. So in these language features, the headline use the author of the news put the information, the truth information in the headline. So that is the language feature that every author of the news must pay attention, because without the truth information in the headline, the news become invalid and we cannot conclude it as the news. Okay. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so in the news item, it's also focusing on the circumstances, which means that this news item using the simple language in writing the text. So the author of the news cannot write about the difficult language in the text, because it will make many misunderstood or misunderstanding for the readers that read the news. Okay, then besides saying verbs, we also use the action verb in the news item. So do you know what action verb?
No, miss.
Okay, actually the action verbs is the verbs that express the physical or mental action. The action verb tells us about what the subject or clause or sentence is doing physically or mentally. For example, crash, hit, walk, thought, write, and etc. That's the action verb that often used in the news item. Okay, the next, in the language feature of news item, we also use something to put the time, to put the date on the news. Do you know what is that?
Preposition, miss.
Yes, of course. And can you mention one example of that?
Sure.
Okay.
At.
Yes.
On.
Okay, that's very good. So actually, that's a good answer. And then beside that, the news item also use passive sentence to make the news become more valid. And then, okay, do you know why we must use passive sentence to make a news?
No, miss. Why do we need to use passive sentence?
Okay, because sometimes the news state someone's quote directly, indirectly, we need to use passive sentence to write that.
Miss.
Yes?
So it's like quoted speech, yeah, Miss?
Yes, of course. So we must put like passive sentence to make an indirect speech like that. And then, okay. So before we go to the next activities, right now, I want you to make a group consists of 2 people. You can make a pairs, like maybe next to your chairmate, or if you don't have a chairmate, you can join with the other friends behind or in front of your friends, in front of you, sorry. Okay, and then right now, please makes a group. Okay, done everyone?
Done, Miss.
Okay, so I will give this assignment for you as a comprehension about the news item, and I want you to discuss it with your group. And then later I will give you 5 minutes to discuss it, and then we will later discuss about it in front of the class. Okay, please discuss together. Okay, class, have you done the discussion?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, let's talk about the answer, okay? Okay, so in your worksheet, there's already one news that must be identified about the generic structure. Okay, I want some of you to mention the newsworthy events that exist in the
Blair wants to answer your questions, Miss.
Sorry?
Blair wants to answer your questions.
Oh, okay. Please.
So the newsworthy event is a Russian journalist has uncovered evidence of another Soviet nuclear catastrophe which killed 10 sailors and contaminated an entire towns.
Okay, that's a newsworthy event or the main event. Is it true, everyone?
Yes, of course, you did.
Okay, that's good. That's the true answer. Okay, the next one is the background event. Anyone wants to answer it?
Selena wants to answer, please.
Okay, please answer.
The background
this.
answer is Yelena Fasharokia is the first journalist to speak to people who witnessed the explosion of nuclear submarine at the naval base of Skotopol 22 near Vladivostok.
Okay, is it true, everyone?
Sure, of course.
Okay, that's actually the true answer. So the background event from the Yelena until Vladivostok. Okay, the third one. Okay, so is there any the other background events that exist?
Maybe no, Miss. There's only one.
Oh, there's only one.
Like you, only one.
Okay.
For him, of course.
Okay, so let's move to the resource information. Anyone wants to answer?
Chuck want to answer.
Okay, let's answer. Chuck, let's answer the third question.
Source of information is a board of investigator was later to describe it as the worst accident in the history of the Soviet Navy.
Okay, so that's a true answer too of the resource of information. Okay, so give applause to everyone that has already answered the question.
Yay!
And all of the group. So, okay, actually we are not out of time, but before we finish the class, I want you to sum up all of the part of the lesson today about news item. Okay, so what have we learned today?
News item, Miss.
Okay, news item. What conclude in the news item? What aspect that conclude in the news item?
The generic structure,
Okay, the generic structure and
then the language features.
Yes.
Used in the news item.
okay, the language feature and the generic structure. And what is the generic structure?
The generic structure are newsworthy events, background events, and the source of information.
Yes, of course, you're right. And then what is the language features?
Preposition.
Okay.
And then output of time.
Yes.
I just remember those two.
Yes. That's true. And then the other was the saying verb. And then the news must use the simple language and etc. Okay, class. I think you've done your best learning activities today. Give applause to everyone again. So, before we finish the class today, I want to remind you that next week we will have a quiz about news item, and then don't forget to check your Moodle account because I've already shared some material about news item and some homework that you have to do for the next week, and later we will discuss it for the next week. Is it clear, class?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, before we end this lesson, I want to have a volunteer to lead the prayer to finish the lesson. Who wants to be volunteer to the prayer? No one? Maybe Jesta again?
Sorry, Miss. I cannot. I don't know how to end.
Okay, so I will lead this prayer in a universal way. Okay, so let's pray together. Okay, pray start. Pray end. Finish. Okay, thank you for your participation, for your active participation in this class. Hope in this situation we will stay safe and healthy, and we can do the other activities in the next week. Thank you everyone. Good morning.
Morning, Miss.